Welcome to the NXT Podcast, your home for weekly NXT reviews and insight.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
Find all of your NXT news, recaps, and analysis right here. So with that being said, we only have one question for you.
Are you ready?
We thought so. Let's get the show started right now.
All right, everyone. This is Memphis Mark coming to you from Mullet Manor, and it is the NXT review on December 27th. And guys, they go straight into something typical. They've got the Creed brothers out there talking about food. Okay, everybody's, everybody ate some food. Okay, and it's a typical thing. So, but anyway, they go into a banger first match with J.D. McDonough and Julius of the Creed brothers. And you know what? Before we get into this match, after watching all these, I almost think that Shawn Michaels or whoever went to him and went, on this show, we're going to showcase the headlock and the front face lock. We're going back to basics, because it seemed to be the theme most of the night. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not saying that. It just seems like that was a consistent theme on the night. And this match, I got to say, the more and more I watch JD, he impresses the heck out of me, because he's so precise. He reminds me of some precise technical and tactical, or does that say that right? Technical and tactical. Like Dean Malenko, or like I keep mentioning, because these guys they have that in them, and Arn and Tully, and and you can even go back to Ronnie Garvin back in the old days. It's just Mr. Wrestling. All these guys that when they found they did the simple moves until they were able to fit in somebody hurt something or whatever, then they went after that particular body part. But all right, and in this one right here with JD and Julius, Julius is a big old guy, and I got to say, he really looked good. It looks like he's been in the gym constantly. He looks a little more cut, and he was hanging with JD, because JD will, he can work you. I could see him being one of these guys that could just work you to death, because he's old school, man. There was some, he do a brain buster, and I think he only had a missed backflip was the only bad thing he had, to end the match. But man, this was a really, really good match. Man, JD gets dropped on the announcer's table. It's a good match, and a great way to start the show out. I cannot have no complaints on this match at all. There's a miss backflip, and then Julius does a move off the rope, and does that when the guy's seated and he's coming up like he's just in a seated position, and he does that, the clothesline from, clothesline from hell. But I mean, it just, it looks really good. So, and he gets the win on this one. But then you have a Sangha and a Veer sighting, or they show up. And they've been watching the match, and might I say that they looked very, very dapper. They looked really, really, they always look really, really good. So whoever their tailor is, kudos. But they're setting up their upcoming match. And then after that, you got a little spot with Tony D and Stacks. And, Tony's talking about his upcoming match with Wesley. And then, when somehow Dijak's brought up. And Tony D says, look, Stacks took care of Dijak. So it's going to be both of them Tony D with Stacks at ringside going for the North American Championship a little later. But they cut a little something with Cora Jade, and they go straight into they cut a little something. They did the Schism promo, and Schism does, man, every one of those guys. And Miss Rain, it will be that way, I'm sure. But the guys just, when they get the stick in their hand, they work it. They do great. I'm sure they are reading almost off a teleprompter, but they just kind of sound like they would talk like that, like Reed and Fowler. But they do their promo, and it's always a 4 roots, a 1 tree. But it goes into the Cora Jade, Wendy Chu match, and Wendy comes flying out there. And then in the first couple minutes, she does her drop kick that's about 1 foot off the mat. She's got to work on that drop kick. But she does some good moves in this. But within, as quick as she does that, Cora Jade's already reaching for her stick, her kendo stick, and Cora had a reoccurring theme in this match where she was going ha ha. And I know she's trying to be the smart aleck, but it just, maybe a time or two at the right time, but she did it, a few times, and it just, it's kind of like the screaming that all these people are doing. Shut the hell up and right. Anyway, Wendy has some in. But besides the drop kick of 8 inches, she has a pretty good power bomb she does in this. She does a really good belly to belly, but then she ends it for the win with a Vader splash. And you gotta love anytime you can say Big Vader. You got to. And even the announcer Vic there, he even acknowledged that it was a Vader bomb. So and then after that, it's a little spot with Jiro Ikiman, Mr. Ikiman. And it's about his jacket, he's a winner with the jacket. He's not so much a winner without the jacket. Scripps just flew in one day and took his jacket and did a move and left. I mean, his entrance into a freaking ring is, I guess they're trying to do something like the Marvel comics, or I don't know what's, I'm not into all that, so I don't know the names of these, different companies that do the superhero stuff. But man, when he just flies, because they don't ever show him walking in, you just see all of a sudden a human being flying on your screen. And the way that he jumps is just the way he does. It looks good, man. I got to look, I'm going to call him by his name, Scripps. We're going to go with Scripps. I ain't going to make any kind of references towards my rebranding or anything like that. Not going to say a word, but Mr. Ikiman, they had to put Scripps in with somebody like this that can fly close to the way he can, because these guys are flip-flopping like fish out of water, man. So, and the one thing I will say about Mr. Ikiman, it's too many people just do the lazy slap. And the way, I think the announcer, what did the announcer call it? He called it a ridge hand slap. It's just the positioning of the hand, and there actually is something similar used in martial arts. So I think it looks cleaner. I think it looks better. It sounds maybe not as good as the open hand slap on certain people. I just think it looks better. Just my opinion. Yeah, the match is pretty good. They're building something, I guess, and everything was good. There was a bad miss that towards the end of the match that Scripps did not pull off. The timing was off on that, but it is what it is. A Script ends up with a win on this, and then after that match, they got Mr. Mensah, Mr. Oro Mensah. He's out in the club partying. In my day, they would have said partying like 1999. Oh, I just kind of dated myself. Anyway, good little spot. Kind of same thing. Yeah, he's gonna change. He's gonna change everything else. I mean, he is a good in-ring, at least what I've seen so far. He's good in the ring, and he can be better with more repetition. Then after that, you got Miss Alba Fire doing her little spot about Isla Dawn, the witch, and she gonna get her this coming week. So that pretty much is how that part of the show goes. But then here comes the hype. Lyra Valkyria. Man, Miss Lyra. We can just call it that. Because you had Lash, I'm sorry, but you got Lash Legend in the ring. The ex WNBA player that's getting better and better. And you had Lyra come in. She came in with all the smoke and all the hype. And Lash started off by throwing her butt around, tossing her like, some good uppercuts, European uppercut or two. And then she's just picking her up and slinging her around like you would do your cousin that was 5 years younger than you at a family reunion. I mean, she was throwing her. And, with all that big smoky entrance, I expected them to go right into her just, running around and flipping. But no, she had to take her bumps. And she took her bumps. So I will say she had a DDT. Yeah, I'm going to say it was a DDT. It was about halfway into the match that almost screwed up. I don't know if maybe she pulled it off or if Miss Legend just helped her with that, but she got a DDT in it, which made her be able to set up the best move I think she had all night. Miss Lyra was a roundhouse kick. So it was a pretty good match, considering that you consider this to be a semi-squash match, and it was nothing like that. They were showcasing Lyra, but they didn't make, in this case, they did not make Miss Legend look bad, to an extent. So, hey, it was they're gonna. Miss Lyra won, with something off the top rope or whatever, but it was a pretty good match. It's worth going back and looking at, but Miss Legend is going to be something coming up. Yeah, she's an up and comer. She just more time, maybe figure out how to talk a lot, but not talk a lot. So. I don't know. We'll see where that goes. But after that match, you got a little Toxic Attraction with No Mandy. Of course, they want them some women's champ Roxanne Perez, and they bring it up. That they want the person that brought the house down. In their words, not mine, but. They're setting something up. So, and this was okay little spot. Both of these ladies can do pretty good on the mic. So, hey, there we go from that. But let me see if I remember right on the timing. You had a Braun Breaker spot where he's going after Mr. Walla, Grayson Walla, and but Grayson ain't there. Grayson ain't there. He done gone home. And now most of us going home, of course, is just running down wherever we are in the United States. Of course, no, he lives in Australia. So they've got him in Sydney, beautiful Sydney, Australia, and he's got the opera house in his background, the bridge. I mean, all the beautiful, beautiful spots, the beach right there in Sydney. So just all the beautiful spots, and he's pretty much saying that this is his training, his getting ready for Braun Breaker is just chilling with a couple cocktails over back home, and he'll be ready to go because he's smarter. And that's another thing. He said it, I didn't. But, it is what it is. It was a pretty good little spot for Grayson. I thought he did pretty good. So we will see next week. But this is leading into a 6-man tag. You're going to have Schism versus Odyssey Jones. We're going to have Odyssey and Blade and Alfie. So all these guys are just some, well, Odyssey's, I wouldn't say is a high flyer, but he's a bad boy or a bad man, and he does some good moves, and he does what does he do? He does a double, it was like I can't remember what it is, but he was great in this match. But Schism, of course, Schism comes out, and I know what it was. It was honestly did a double sidewalk slam, on both the guys. So that's what it was. But they start off with Gracie and Blade, and man, Anafi and Blade, man, these guys are close. Man, they've got the height, and their drop kicks and their punches look good. In ring, they are, man. I've seen them where I thought they were C's, and now they're B's. Now they're B pluses, and then it could possibly be an A minus. But I'm saying B plus or an A minus. They're that doggone close. But anyway, this is a good match. Like I said, Odyssey ends up with a double sidewalk slam, man. But at one time, Ava Rain goes outside, and she likes talking all this crap to Booker T, and Booker T takes his headphones off and looks like, the heck did she just say, man? And why is this girl in my space? And of course, she goes back to the four roots of one tree. But she gets her little mic time, so I mean, that is. But I will say that I saw Schism do something that I really like it when you get teams together and they just. Sometimes it don't. Usually nowadays it's somebody in the corner and they just constantly pound on them, kind of like New Day does on their stomps and stuff. So, but this one was diving out of the ring onto a big son of a gun, and that's what they did, man. They kept flying out of the ring on Odyssey, and it took about 2 or 3 runs of all the guys running out before they knocked him down. But I thought it looked pretty good, and I thought he took it the right way. I just think it was pretty deep and pretty. I give it all right. That was done pretty well. Anyway, you're gonna have this one coming down to the end, but I do like the match. It is definitely worth going back and checking out there. But you go from there straight into Trick and Mello talking about the upcoming matches, and it's Trick, I think, is going against Axiom, and Mello's going against, of course, Apollo Crews. And Trick says he's going to put Axiom back in the comic books or something like that, and and Mello's saying that, look, man, Apollo's trying to jump in front of me. So that's setting up. And then right after that, we got the battle for the bar. It's Val and Henry fighting for her family's bar. We're going against Kiana James, the business lady that wants to turn it into condos. So this match both of these ladies are good, and they will surprise you. This is sometimes where people get up and go get some chips or go whatever. Man, Valen has really come on, and so has Kiana. Man, they followed the storyline in this that Valen grew up in the bar and everything like that. But man, she had some good big knees and some good kicks, and Kiana, man, she is just and she just needs the right gimmick, and she's ready almost to go. Man, she's close, and she pulled off a gut buster, and and she was going after Valen's ribs. It was a good match. They set it up good. They worked it good, and then in the end, Valen gets it. But it was a good overall match. And then right after that, you got to have Roxanne Perez doing her promo, and it was okay. It was all right. It was Roxanne, and it was a promo. But after that, they go straight into Drew Gulak Invitational, and he's out there with all the guys, and didn't really quite understand this. Okay, he's going to show off his skills, and he's trying to show off for the security guard. You might as well say it, the security guard. It's Hank Walker. He brought him out there to kind of show off, and he's got 3 other wrestlers up and coming that are in different stages of their career, and he's talking through it, and he takes from the least to the most experienced, and Mr. Walker's got to get involved a time or two, and when he's talking about tapping out, but I'm not sure about this segment. Yeah, it was Charlie Dempsey is the name. It was leaving my mind, but Charlie Dempsey comes out, and he pretty much tells Drew that he's going to take apart all of his students next week, and Drew says they'll be ready, but it was just kind of odd, and I don't know if they're trying to promote Dempsey in this, trying to do something with Hank, with Hank getting in between them towards the end, going, it's just an exhibition, So, I don't know. Dempsey, he's a talent that is definitely not being used enough. So we'll see where this goes. But that was the Drew Gulak Invitational. So this is all though leading up to Tony D and Wes Lee into this match. So everything is set up for this. Tony D, I've got to say, now before they go to commercial break, they got both of them walking out, or I guess you should say all 3 with Stacks coming out. But Tony D, I know he's coming back from an injury, but he must have been he must have been able to work on body parts that weren't injured. It wasn't a type of injury that you couldn't even get your blood pressure up when you were pumping weight or something like that, because he looks really, really good in this match. And they start off strong, their timing seems good. Just good match, man. At one time, Tony hollers out, "I'm going to take 2 things from you, your legs and your title." And that's his main agenda in this match, was to get revenge, because he thought that in his version, Wes Lee has been living off of the reputation of putting Tony D, the Don, out of commission. So in his mind, that he's got to return the favor plus a little interest, a little something on top of that. So that's weighing it. When the match is good, and Tony D seems to be running things for a while, but every time Wes Lee gets a chance, you'll see some great combos, some good moves, and of course Tony D will come back and catch him But it went like that. But at one time, Wes is doing one of those combos on him, and he gets thrown out of the ropes, or under the ropes, and Stax is out there, and he's like, sweep his legs, sweep his leg. And Tony's like, shut up. They've got the mic right there and everything. But Tony D he's another person that I've seen progress. And one of the little things that you don't catch a lot of times, but they do a move, whatever the move is, they go down, and Tony realizes that they're not in position for the camera. So he's moving, and it looks the way he's doing, he's moving with Wesley of trying to get out of the move to where he positions them both in the camera. So you can see Wesley in agony and Tony D in total confident that he's in that move. So little things like that, really help out in a match like that with timing and everything else. But man, the whole thing was good. It was a good match. At one time, Tony D gets a good front lock or front suplex, a reverse suplex, I guess you would say. So the match looks like Tony D's about to take control. And everything's good. Tony climbs up into the corner, getting ready to come off on Wesley. Wesley's positioned, and who shows up? The guy that was supposed to have been taken care of, and that is Dijak. And Dijak snatches up Stax, and bam! Next thing you know, you got a cartwheel kick that Wes wins with. But Tony needs to work a little bit on that sell. But it was overall, there's nothing I could really complain about on that. And so overall, a pretty doggone good match. And the show was a pretty good show. So I really have no complaints on this. I believe we went through everything, and hope everyone enjoyed our Christmas spot that we did with Michael Gross and Maverick. So hopefully we might have something coming up for you before New Year's, maybe a little New Year's something. So maybe even trying to get people a blast from the past. Who knows? But anyway, guys, I guess that we will go ahead and close this out. I believe all my notes are good. Well, we're going to end it the way we always do. Spay and neuter, of course. Rescue if you can, spay and neuter. And this is Memphis Mark. Guys, and I am out. I thought I was. Wait a minute. I am out? No, I'm out. Yeah, I'm out.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.